What up, dope? It's Lady T, reppin' the 313, Princess of the D, bow. And you watching MetroArts on Detroit Public Television right now. Ow.
Hello and welcome to MetroArts. I'm your host, Shayna Fields-Clark. And right here on MetroArts, we highlight some of the best in the business, from fine artists to photographers, performing artists, cinematographers, as well as musical artists, all from the Metro Detroit area. On today's show, we have award-winning vocal entertainer, Mr. Stevie, singer and actor, Pato Margetic, and puppet art theater. Stay right here, because you're watching MetroArts. MetroArts would like to welcome award-winning vocal entertainer, Mr. Stevie. Hi, how are you?
Good, how you doing?
It's a pleasure to have you
Thank
here.
you for having me.
So explain to us exactly what do you do?
Okay, I'm a vocal entertainer.
And what is
which
that?
is sort of a glamorized beatboxer.
Okay.
I'm different than your conventional beatboxer where I sing and I scat and I incorporate body music into sort of what I do, which gives it a more unique and wide range sort of sound, opposed to a beatboxer, which most people imagine like a guy with his hands over his mouth, just kicking like a drum and bass kind of beat.
Okay.
So vocal entertainer is a sort of term that kind of describes everything that I do.
So by you saying that, because I'm used to a beatboxer putting his hands and stuff over his mouth and doing like
sure.
the beats and stuff on the table. So
Sure.
you necessarily don't do that?
Well, I mean, sort of. That's kind of how I started.
Okay.
But most beatboxers stay in like a particular range, and I've discovered different ways of incorporating body music and instruments, and my style's a little different. So,
Okay.
So that's where the vocal entertainer word comes from.
Okay, so how do you like incorporate hip hop into beatboxing?
Oh, well, hip hop. Well, beatboxing is one of like the elements of hip hop. Back even when hip hop was first formed. So hip hop is always incorporated in everything that I do. Like the fundamental of what I do is rooted from hip hop. So it's in every piece that I perform and that I do.
Okay, and how did you find your way into teaching others?
Well, I grew up with a speaking disability.
Absolutely.
And I would stutter so bad that instead of words coming out, these funny, weird sounds would come out. So in order to teach myself to speak, I would arrange these funny, weird sounds into like beats and patterns. And I ultimately taught myself to beatbox through that. And, through the years, I would just, people would ask me how I started, how I did it, and I discovered a unique way of teaching people. And then I came across these different techniques of teaching people because people would always want to learn. And it's pretty difficult to teach somebody that, especially the way I learned because it was through this disability. So I would always tell people to say boots. So how about you want to try it? How about you say boots?
Boots.
Say cats.
Cats.
Okay, boots, cats, boots, cats.
Boots, cats, boots, cats.
Right, so that's that's like the word breakdown of. It's like the word, so, it's sort of like breaking things down. It's just like any other sort of form of art where you have to sort of break it down and strip it down to learn it. So I always teach people to say boots and cats fast, over 10 times, as quick as you can.
How fast can you say it?
Yeah, and then.
Wow, I don't think I can go that fast. So with other children that would have a disability, like, how would you encourage them to just like follow their dreams if they can't, because you said you had a speaking problem?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. I'm a big promoter of just really doing it. And, no one really helped me or sort of guided me through it. It was one of those things that I had to just do myself. And I always encourage people to, the world doesn't really help in these sort of situations. Like, you really have to just know what you want and really focus and be dedicated towards it. So just, keep hustling and keep working hard at something, and that's really the best way of doing it.
Now, did you always want to be a beatboxer?
Yeah, I always wanted to do music and work within music and production and stuff like that. So it's definitely like a dream come true, for sure.
Okay, and now tell us about the Y program.
The Y program. Well, you know, as growing up with a speaking disability and sort of creating this talent from that, a lot of cool opportunities came to do lectures and seminars and kind of talk about how I overcame my disability and discovered music. And with the city of Detroit cutting a lot of their music and art budgets within their curriculum in school, it gave us the opportunity, like a lot of hardworking artists in the city, with unique, different like visual artists and dance artists, to come into the schools and sort of teach these classes, because there's now not any sort of programming going on in the schools. So I was one of those few artists that was selected to sort of go into schools and do what they call an outreach program. And we sort of like fill that gap, because there's no choir and there's no band in a lot of these schools. So we've kind of compiled all of these different sort of styles of music into one program, and then we go into schools and sort of teach them. And it's been a lot of fun working with kids. I've never really seen myself as a teacher, and then once I started, it was just such a really cool, unique thing.
That's great. It's funny where life can take you.
I know.
So what are some upcoming events that we can expect from Mr. Stevie?
I have a lot of different events and things. I'm working on a lot of commercials. I've gotten recently into doing a lot of voiceover work and commercial stuff because of my beatbox talent. It's opened up the door, and there just seems to be this really big demand for beatboxers in TV and doing commercial stuff. So I'm working on a Hanson's commercial. Hanson's Windows is a local company here. I scored that, and I recreated their famous jingle, which is, you know the one, call 1-800. You might have heard that.
I love it.
And then I'm also working on a H&R Black commercial. I'm scoring the commercial and stuff like that. And you can always check out my website, MrStevie.com. You can see all the updates on different productions and events and performances I'm working on.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Stevie, for joining us here on MetroArts. And you guys can actually tune into MetroArts to see Mr. Stevie doing some big things. Check it out. And now performing right here on MetroArts, Mr. Stevie.
MetroArts. You think you're real snazzy, don't you? Don't you? MetroArts on Detroit Public Television. Snazzy.
MetroArts will now like to welcome Puppet Art Theater's Marketing and Development Director, Kelly Driscoll, as well as Artistic Director, Igor Gozman. Hi, how are you?
Hello.
How are you guys? Thank you for joining us here on MetroArts.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Yes, so just to start off, so puppet artistry is not such a form that people are aware of. Can you guys explain that?
Well, people are aware, but only about one small part of puppetry. Puppetry is a very special, unique, very ancient art form. It is art form where all arts come together. In my personal opinion, it is the most unique art form where we can meet all two-dimensional, three-dimensional art forms, music, dance, painting, everything come into one puppet show. And people tell stories everywhere in the world with puppets, and puppets themselves come in so many different shapes and sizes, and at the same time they share same tears and same laughs. They look just like people. They mirror people's diversity. So that maybe people not aware of about that side of puppetry. It's much more complex, interesting, and it is easy and enjoyable for all ages. Please don't think about puppetry as a children's art form only. It's much, much more, and always been that way.
Okay.
I know that when I started at puppet art, you know, I had a limited perspective of puppetry as the art form, and it's so much more than what we know here with our paper bag puppets and our sock puppets. And here at Puppet Art, it's a professional theater, and we're really telling the stories from traditions and cultures from all over the world, not just here in America, But when you come to a performance at Puppet Art, you really learn the ways of the land and ancient folk tales and oral history from all over the world.
Okay, so how do you guys think that the Puppet Art Theater is different from any other theater in Michigan?
How it differs? Well, you know, there are not a lot of professional puppet theaters in Michigan.
Thinking.
I hope we are different from other theaters and other puppet theaters. They think I can definitely tell you what we want to do at what we started up 13 years ago in downtown Detroit. We have repertory theater. We run performances every Saturday throughout the year. We have repertoire of different shows, and each show takes stage for the whole month at least once a year. We have workshops, classes, we have a little museum, because all these experiences in a museum and a studio, along with the puppet performance, come together and enhance all experience this couple of hours spent in a place. But probably also it is the place where we, as a team, as a group of artists, work together, and I'd like to think of us as a repertory ensemble permanent theater, which belongs to the city. And if I may to add, I think that there is no such big city completed without puppet theater. So I'm very happy that we, 13 years, prove that Detroit is a great place for puppeteers. Besides, there's a great history about puppetry in Detroit. I would also add, the first conference took place here 75 years ago. One of the greatest puppeteers we know in the history came from Detroit. Apple Sauce, the dragon Apple Sauce,
Yes,
maybe people
yes.
know, would recognize. This is Detroiter. He is Detroiter, and one of the very first puppets went on TV with a children's program. So there are many things.
Okay, and Kelly, what kind of work do you think, like, or it's not what do you think, you know, work goes into preparing the puppets?
Well, preparing the puppets themselves is actually done at Puppet Art. There are three co-founders at Puppet Art, and each of them have such a big hand in each of the shows. And when they select a production that's going to be put into the season, they actually create all of the puppets. So it's such a unique thing when you come to Puppet Art. Each of the puppets that you see are handcrafted, handmade, and also the set design as well, and all of the design elements in the show are all done by Puppet Art Theater.
Okay, and can you tell us about your friends that you brought today?
Sure. Well, and when we decided on what puppets to bring today, we wanted to represent the 4 different styles of puppetry, which are marionettes, rod puppets, tabletop or floor top puppets, and shadow puppets.
Okay.
We don't have shadow puppets with us today, but I'll let Igor introduce the folks next to him.
This is Gonzo. This is a character from story called Crane Maiden. This is a Japanese folk tale, and he's one of those guys. This is Marionette. It's a puppet control from above, mostly with the strings. And one of
Is that
those
one
guys.
for me?
Yes, he's coming. Oh, yeah, it's nice to see you too. Oh.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Well, in some shows, we use one specific kind of puppet, like in our story Sleeping Beauty, which is a traditional classical marionette performance. In some other shows, we can have a combination, all different kinds of puppets come together to tell one story. Now, next to me is our Baba Yaga, and Baba Yaga is a famous Russian witch, and this is a rat puppet. It's a puppet controlled from below, usually with rats, of course, and he's also quite a character, does different not good things. But in our show, in our story of Firebird, where she is a part of, she does help our character, our main character.
Okay.
So anyway, that's what our Baba Yaga. Yeah.
And we also brought some characters from some of our other shows, and our most recent show, which is the Snow Queen, and those are these three characters and that one near you.
Right here.
And this is Schlemiel from our Yiddish folk tale, and he's a funny character as well.
Okay. And how do you guys find the voices for these puppets?
Our actors, so sometimes friends, but mostly our actors do voices. We have a couple of shows when we work live, but most of the shows allows us to pre-record and have a soundtrack developed for the show.
Okay. And Kelly, what kind of upcoming events can we expect?
Well, our most recent show to open at Puppet Art is The Snow Queen by Hans Christian Andersen. And then coming up in March, we've partnered with the Hinterlands Theater Company, and together we are creating a brand new performance called Dream Tigers. And this will be the first time that we're introducing the Latin American folktale to our repertoire.
All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us here on Metro Arts. And thank you guys for tuning in to see the Puppet Arts. Stay where you are. You're watching Metro Arts. Now here on Metro Arts, we would like to welcome singer and actor Pato Margetic. Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I am great. How did you get that name? I have to ask that first.
My
What
dad.
does that name mean?
I'm named after my dad, and my dad was born in Argentina.
Okay.
So my name is Patricio Margetic, but I go by Pato Margetic because that's what my dad goes by. So,
That's awesome. That's awesome.
but everyone calls me Pato.
Well, we'll stick here on Metro Arts, Pato. So, Pato.
There you go.
Okay, so as a singer and actor, what is the worth of it? Like, what do you get the most, like, kicks out of it?
I think the challenge. Every day waking up, just wanting to challenge myself and being inspired by everyone around me, especially in this city. Just the challenge of just wanting to be better and wanting to make better music, or, you know, if I'm involved with a role, making a better character, things like that. Just the challenge really is rewarding.
Now, were you born and raised here in the city of Detroit?
For the most part. I traveled around a lot as a kid
Okay.
because my dad played professional soccer, and he was being traded a lot. So we lived in Chicago, even Germany, and Ohio, and all over the Midwest, but we really settled down here in Michigan when I was in middle school, and then stayed. So this is home.
Okay, so what influences your music?
I would say just feeling and soul. I'm a family man with values, and I like to keep my music classic feeling and simple.
Okay.
So, yeah.
That's awesome. Now, you've always talked about the trace of you and the essence of your heritage. Explain that.
Well, by trace, I have that in my biography that actually a good friend of mine and a professor of mine helped me write. So, but by trace, I mean that all the work I've done thus far is just where I've been. And I feel like I'm just getting started. So, you know, what's in front of us right now is just a trace of, you know, what I've worked on and what I've experienced.
So what made you want to get into music?
I think just the feeling of, like, literally right when I first played guitar and sang along with it. It was just so much fun. I just knew I always wanted to just be creative and write and just live my life through playing music.
Okay. And no playing soccer for you?
Oh, yeah, I do that too.
Oh, okay, I was like, you had to pick up some of Dad's trait.
I definitely play soccer. I stay athletic, you know. I actually take my music like sports training, practice, you know, like 3 hours a day, just write and focus. And so, yeah, trying to stay diverse.
That's awesome. So what can we expect from you in the future?
Just more music and creative projects. I'm starting to get really intrigued by video. I feel like everything's so visual nowadays, especially with YouTube and so much access to the internet. So I'm very intrigued by video, so I want to incorporate more music and more videos.
Okay, and MetroArts, we're expecting a performance out of you today.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was a pleasure to just interview you right now.
You too, Shayla.
Yes, and let's get this ball rolling.
All right.
You guys can just check out Pato's performance up next.
At the end of the day, I can only take so much. And right now I gotta be myself. No, I won't let you break me down like that. I'ma sit back and laugh. Cause I keep on pushing, keep on moving. It's alright, cause I'll be doing. Seen the good times and the bad with this bridge card in my hand. I'm too big for my britches, but I always keep the waters calm, never burn my bridges. Thankful I'm from Michigan, yes I'm staying genuine. I hold on to my ghetto, cause I'm from humble beginnings. I keep on pushing and keep on dreaming. It's alright if I change my scenery. I'ma stay true to who I am, and there ain't no stopping that. I keep on pushing and keep on moving. It's alright, cause I'll be doing me. Seen the good times and the bad with this bitch card in my hand. My blood, sweat, tears, fellows, lighters up, puff that cigarello. And all my dudes looking for that dime piece, lighters up, let them know she's your queen. All my ladies looking for good fellows, lighters up, puff that cigarello. And all my dudes looking for that dime piece, lighters up, treat her like she's your queen.
Hey guys, check out my music at patomusic.com. That's P-A-T-O music.com.
Well, I hope you enjoyed today's show. I'd like to thank our special guests, Mr. Stevie, Pato Margetic, and Puppet Art Theater for joining us today. I'm your host on MetroArts, Shayna Fields Clark, reminding you to always, always, always support the arts in your community.
Hi, I'm Daniel Dumas, one of the associate producers for MetroArts. That means I get to work with musicians, actors, fine artists, dancers, and other guests that we highlight each week on our show. We are always looking for guest artists, and information about that process is available at our website, MetroArtsDetroit.com. And thank you for watching our show on Detroit Public Television. MetroArts is produced at the Midtown Studio at Wayne State University.